Let's just cut through the noise right now and get into something that every man wonders about, but very few talk about honestly. What's the best position for a man to have sex? Now, most people are expecting some list, right? A ranking, a technique, some acrobatic solution that's going to unlock the secrets of satisfaction. But if that's what you came for, you're not going to get it, because the truth is bigger than that. The best position for a man to have sex isn't about where your body is. It's about where your mind is. It's about the kind of man you are in the moment, and what kind of partner you choose to be. Too many guys go into sex thinking it's a performance. They've got this highlight reel playing in their heads, things they've seen, things they think they should be doing, ways they're supposed to look, sound, move. There's a whole lot of pressure to do it right, to be the best, to impress her, to last longer, to be strong, to take control. But that kind of pressure is the exact thing that kills connection. That's not intimacy, that's insecurity wearing a mask. Here's the truth, the best position for a man to have sex is the one where he shows up, not as some idea of a man, but as himself. Fully present, not in his head, not on autopilot, not mimicking what he thinks she wants, but grounded, connected, listening, responsive, vulnerable even. You want to be amazing in bed? Stop asking, what's the best move? Start asking, what does she need from me right now? How can I create safety, trust, openness? You don't need a new position. You need presence. You need confidence that comes from being honest, not from pretending to know everything. You need to ask questions. Communicate, pay attention to her body, be aware of your own, slow down, breathe, touch her with intention. Let go of the finish line, let go of the scoreboard in your head, just be there. Let me tell you something most guys never hear. When a woman feels emotionally and physically safe with you, when she feels like she's being seen, like her pleasure matters, like she can let go and not be judged, that's the hottest thing in the world to her. Doesn't matter what position you're in, when you're present like that, everything feels good. Everything becomes the best position, because now it's not about mechanics, it's about meaning. But if you're rushing through it, distracted, chasing your own release or trying to copy some routine you saw in porn, it's empty. You might hit the right angles, but you'll miss the connection. And that's what makes it memorable. That's what turns sex into something that lingers in someone's soul. A lot of men are never taught this. They grow up with pressure to be tough, to be in control, to always know what to do. Vulnerability isn't encouraged. Emotional intelligence isn't modeled, and so they end up thinking sex is about domination, performance, ego, but it's not. It's about generosity, curiosity, exploration. Real masculinity is not about how hard or fast or long you can go, it's about how present and real you're willing to be. And here's something else you need to hear. Being a great lover has nothing to do with being perfect. It has everything to do with being intentional, being patient, being open to feedback, being connected to your partner's experience, not just your own. It's a partnership, not a competition. It's not about getting it right. It's about getting real. The best position for a man to have sex is not a page in a magazine. It's a mindset. It's the position of showing up fully, with integrity, with softness, with strength. It's being able to say, what do you like? And really mean it. It's being willing to shift, to adapt, to learn. It's about connection, respect, playfulness, tenderness, and yes, sometimes it's about heat, desire, hunger. But that only lands when it's built on trust. When you approach sex from that space, you realize something huge. Every position is the best position because it's not about the position. It's about how you show up in it. So stop obsessing over what to do with your body and start focusing on what you bring with your energy. Your presence is more powerful than any technique. You can't fake it, you can't hack it, you can only live it. So, what's the best position for a man to have sex? It's the one where he shows up as someone who cares deeply about his partner's experience. It's the one where he listens, feels, adapts, where he's not afraid to be soft, not afraid to be wild, not afraid to slow down, not afraid to go deep. It's not about dominance, it's about intimacy, it's not about control. It's about connection. If you can do that, if you can bring your full self, your whole heart, your honest attention, that is the best position any man can be in, every single time, presence over performance. It's a simple idea, but one that completely transforms the way men experience sex and the way their partners experience them. For most of their lives, men are taught, directly or indirectly, that sex is something to win at, something to master, a test of masculinity measured by stamina, skill, and the ability to satisfy. They learn to associate sex with performance, pressure, and expectations. That conditioning creates a kind of mental checklist: what move to try next, how long to last, how to look, what sounds to make, and whether or not they're doing it right. And in all that focus on performance, they forget the most important thing: being present. Presence means you're not just in the room physically. You're in the moment with your whole self, mentally, emotionally, energetically. Your attention isn't scattered. You're not watching yourself like a critic. You're not running commentary in your head. You're there with your partner, listening, noticing, feeling. When you're present, your mind isn't jumping ahead to the next move. It's not stuck in what you think she wants. It's not fixated on whether or not you're doing enough. It's tuned into what's actually happening right now, and that's where real connection happens. That's where sex becomes meaningful, not mechanical. When you focus on performance, everything becomes about the result, the orgasm, the time, the reaction. But when you shift to presence, it becomes about the experience itself. You start to notice her breathing, the way her body responds to your touch, the emotions behind her eyes. You respond, not with technique, but with instinct. You create space for trust. You create safety. And when a woman feels safe, emotionally and physically, her entire body opens up. Her pleasure deepens, her connection to you intensifies. That's not something you can fake with a routine. That's not something you can force by doing the right thing. That comes only from presence. Most men aren't present during sex because they're afraid of not measuring up, afraid of doing it wrong, afraid of being judged, so they stay in their heads. They disconnect from their bodies. They try to act instead of feel. They're more focused on how they look than how they feel, more focused on what they're doing than who they're doing it with, and that mental noise keeps them from actually being with their partner. It creates distance. Even if the sex looks good from the outside, it feels hollow. Being present takes courage. It means letting go of control. It means trusting yourself enough to stop performing and start engaging. It means getting quiet inside your own mind so you can actually hear the moment. It means letting go of the script and allowing intimacy to unfold naturally. That can feel risky, especially if you've always been told that your value in the bedroom is tied to your ability to impress. But when you make that shift, everything changes. You stop worrying about the performance and you start participating in the experience. Presence also allows you to be more attuned to your own desires, not just what you think you should want, but what actually feels good to you. It helps you notice when something feels right or when something feels off. It helps you make choices based on connection, not pressure. It helps you take your time, explore, adjust, and it creates space for real communication. Because when you're present, you're able to ask and listen. You're able to say, "Do you like this?" without fear. You're able to adjust without shame. You're able to give and receive feedback without ego. That's where real sexual confidence comes from. Not from having all the answers, but from being able to stay grounded when you don't. Presence can't be faked. It can't be learned from a video or a book. It's something you have to practice. You practice by slowing down, by breathing, by staying out of your head and into your body, by noticing your partner's cues, by letting go of the outcome and sinking into the moment. The more you do it, the more natural it becomes, and the more present you are, the more satisfying and connected sex becomes for both of you. Emotional and physical connection matters most. In every sexual experience, in every moment of intimacy, this truth holds more power than any technique, position, or trick. The deepest, most fulfilling sex doesn't come from what your body does. It comes from how connected you are to the other person. It's not about performance, it's about presence. It's not about control, it's about openness. It's not about ticking boxes, it's about tuning in. Physical pleasure without emotional connection is empty. It might feel good for a moment, but it doesn't last. It doesn't stay with you. It doesn't leave you better, more alive, more grounded, or more intimate with your partner. When you combine the emotional with the physical, though, sex becomes something much more than release. It becomes communication, understanding, and trust in its most raw and wordless form. Most people focus heavily on the physical aspect of sex. It's what we're shown, what we hear, what we're told matters. How to last longer, how to try new positions, how to be adventurous, and yes, those things can play a role, but none of it matters if the emotional connection is missing. You can have all the skills in the world, but if your partner feels unseen, unheard, or disconnected, it won't mean anything. The truth is, emotional connection heightens physical pleasure. It creates a foundation of safety and vulnerability that allows two people to let go, to trust, to explore without fear, to be real. When someone feels emotionally secure, their body naturally responds. Their arousal increases. Their tension releases. They feel free to express themselves fully, without holding back or wondering if they're being judged. Men are often conditioned to separate the two, to see emotional connection as optional or even as a weakness. But when men embrace emotional connection during sex, they unlock a whole new level of intimacy. They begin to understand that touch is a language, that attention is intimacy, that checking in, making eye contact, breathing together, and being genuinely invested in the moment creates a physical reaction that no technique alone can match. A partner who feels emotionally close to you will respond more openly, more passionately, and with more trust. Emotional intimacy makes physical intimacy safer, and when it's safe, it's deeper. Sex without emotional connection can feel like going through the motions. It can become transactional, but when there's emotional connection, even the smallest touches carry weight. A hand on the back, a gentle kiss, a quiet moment of stillness. All of it becomes part of the experience. Emotional connection doesn't mean you have to be in love. It doesn't require a lifelong bond. It means being present enough to care, to see the person in front of you as more than a body, to recognize their needs, emotions, and comfort. It means paying attention not just to what they say, but to what their body is telling you. It means understanding that sex is a conversation, and that listening is just as important as speaking. Physical connection is obviously part of the equation. But real physical connection is about more than bodies touching. It's about synchronicity. It's about rhythm, breathing, tension, and release. It's about finding a shared space where both people are aware of each other, responding to each other, moving together. That kind of connection doesn't happen automatically. It happens when you're both emotionally engaged, when you're willing to be present, vulnerable, and generous. When you're willing to explore, to communicate, to slow down, and to let go of ego. Many sexual issues, from mismatched desire to performance anxiety, stem from a lack of emotional connection. When partners feel distant, resentful, or unheard, that disconnect often shows up in the bedroom. The solution isn't a new position. It's deeper intimacy. It's open conversation. It's emotional repair. Because once emotional closeness is reestablished, physical closeness follows naturally. You can feel it in the way you hold each other, the way your partner looks at you, the way you breathe together. That's the kind of sex that doesn't just satisfy, it heals. It builds trust. It strengthens the bond between two people. Emotional and physical connection also require reciprocity. It's not just about what you want or what you think they want. It's about sharing the experience, giving and receiving equally, creating space for both people to be seen, heard, and valued. That might mean slowing down, asking questions, or checking in during the moment. It might mean acknowledging emotion when it arises. It might mean being honest about your own insecurities. All of that deepens the connection and allows for a more real, grounded, and satisfying experience. Communication is more powerful than technique. In sex, most people are taught to focus on performance, on mastering moves, on doing things right. They're taught that skill is the ultimate key to satisfaction. But what often gets overlooked, and what matters far more in creating fulfilling, connected, and pleasurable sexual experiences, is communication. Open, honest, respectful communication between partners can transform everything. It's the foundation that makes exploration safe, that makes vulnerability possible, and that builds trust. Without communication, even the most technically impressive moments can feel disconnected. With communication, even simple, subtle moments can become deeply intimate and memorable. So many people avoid talking about sex, especially in the moment. There's fear of judgment, fear of rejection, fear of awkwardness. Men often carry pressure to already know what to do, to never ask questions, to just get it. But sex is not a guessing game or a solo performance. It's a shared experience. It's something that evolves between two people. No one can read minds. Every body is different. Every experience is different. What felt good once might not feel good today. What worked with one partner might not work with another. Communication is the only way to navigate that. It's the only way to know what your partner wants, needs, likes, and doesn't like. And it's the only way to express those things for yourself. Real communication in sex isn't just about dirty talk or compliments. It's about honesty. It's about being willing to ask simple, direct questions like, do you like this? Or slower, or more pressure. It's about checking in, listening for the answer, and adjusting based on that feedback. It's also about expressing your own needs without apology or ego, saying, I'd love it if you, or can we try, or I really enjoy when, creates clarity and deepens connection. When both people feel free to speak and safe to be heard, the entire experience becomes more collaborative, more responsive, and more satisfying. Many people assume that communication kills the mood. They think that talking during sex breaks the spell or ruins the spontaneity, but the opposite is true. Silence can lead to assumption, which leads to misalignment. Talking, even in whispers, even in pauses, can create more intimacy, more energy, more clarity. A simple question or confirmation can heighten arousal because it shows attentiveness and care. It shows that you're not just in your own head, you're engaged with your partner. That kind of awareness is sexy. That kind of presence builds anticipation, safety, and trust. Communication before and after sex is just as important. Asking your partner what they like before things get physical sets the tone for openness. Reflecting afterward, talking about what felt good, what you'd like to do again, what you'd change, builds connection and encourages growth. These conversations don't have to be formal or heavy. They can be light, playful, even flirtatious. What matters is that both people feel heard, that both people have a voice, and that both people feel empowered to shape the experience together. For men in particular, letting go of the idea that you have to just know everything can be liberating. It's not a failure to ask its strength. It shows maturity, confidence, and a willingness to prioritize your partner's experience, not just your own ego. It also opens the door for your partner to speak freely. Many people stay silent because they think their feedback will hurt someone's feelings, or because they've been trained not to ask for what they want. When you create a space where communication is welcomed, you make it easier for your partner to express themselves too. It's important to remember that communication isn't just verbal. It also happens through body language, breathing, facial expressions, and small cues. But relying solely on nonverbal signals can lead to misinterpretation. Verbal communication fills in the gaps. It clears up confusion. It creates certainty. And it gives your partner the opportunity to tell you what's really going on inside. That clarity deepens trust, which deepens intimacy, which ultimately leads to better sex. Communication also helps navigate boundaries and consent with confidence and ease. When you're comfortable talking about what feels good and what doesn't, you're also better equipped to say no, to hear no, and to adjust without taking things personally. That creates a culture of respect where both people feel valued and empowered. Respect fuels desire, safety fuels freedom, and freedom leads to more honest, passionate, connected sexual expression. When communication becomes a natural part of your sexual experiences, everything changes. You become more in tune with your partner and with yourself. You stop guessing and start discovering. You stop assuming and start collaborating. And you create the kind of relationship, whether short term or long term, where both people feel seen, heard, desired, and free to express exactly who they are.